Alright, to get started on our flowers, we're going to need a couple things. I am using these paper stencils. I found them on a website that I will link below, and I'm using some floral wire, a pencil, scissors, tacky glue, and wrapping paper. You can use whatever kind of paper you like, just make sure it's the right consistency so that it folds well. And we're going to get started by tracing. Goodness, my vocabulary is not the best today. We're going to trace the stencils onto the back side of our wrapping paper, so the side that you do not want to be seen, and just trace all of them on there. And then we're using a different color paper for the leaf. You can use the same color, a different color, it doesn't really matter, but just for the purposes of this and what I've been doing, I have been using a different color for my leaves. And then here's one thing you can do too. If you have a ton you need to make, you can fold up the paper back and forth, so that way you can cut out multiple at a time, and that is a huge time saver. But for the purposes of this, I'm just using one piece. And you basically just now have to cut out all of the stencils you just created to get started on our flower. Once our stencils are all cut out, you're going to take your scissors, and for this, be very careful. You're going to be using the side that sticks out more, but be careful when you're gripping the scissors because you don't want to cut yourself. And you're going to take the long end of the scissors and basically use that to curl the edges of the paper. For the two single petals, we're curling them differently. So this one, we're just curling the long edge to it, as you see, and then the second one I am curling the two corners. So the two rounded corners we're curling out. So again, the top is the fancy side which you want to see, and the paper should be curled under, like so. And then basically for all of the others, we're just curling the two edges of each petal, nothing else. So my descriptive sucks. I just hope the video makes sense. So let me know if it doesn't, comment below, but you're just curling each edge, so each petal gets curled twice. And be careful, like you want to be firm enough so that the curls take, but you don't want to be too firm because it is possible to rip these. And believe me, I've done it plenty of times and it's a pain in the ass, so just be careful. And once you're done curling all the edges, you're going to take your wire or floral wire, whatever it is you're using, and I am going to use the one petal that I just curled along the long edge, and I'm putting glue on that long edge. You don't need a ton, but you want enough so that it's pretty covered in it, I guess, if that makes sense. You just want one strip, but you want it to be enough so that when you curl the paper over, that the glue hits all sides. So as you see, I'm just placing the wire on that edge and curling the edge over so that it connects with the other side of the paper and it's completely covering the wire. Just hold it in place long enough so that it sticks without lifting, and then put some glue on the other long curled edge because we're going to be folding that over and basically curling it around the wire. And how big you want the base to be is dependent on how tightly you curl this thing. The wider the base, obviously, like the bigger the curl will be, or however you say it, I guess. Either way, mine are pretty tight, as you can tell. Basically, it's just because I'm lazy and it's a lot easier to make them tight, but if you want a bigger, more gaudy flower, then make the base a little bit wider. And then next, I'm taking the petal with the two curled edges and I'm just holding it up to the base that I've created and wrapping it around like so. And doing this kind of creates the mold of where we're going to want to put the glue. So you'll put a strip down the middle and then one dot on each side. And then do the same thing, putting it right back where you had it before, holding it there, connecting both sides, and then just holding there until it sticks without lifting and falling off. So once our base is done, we are going to start curling the other petals, and these are going to make the layers of the flower. So you're putting a strip of glue on the inside, so the fancy side of that little tab, and then you're gluing that to the back. So you put the glue on the fancy side, but you're taping it behind, so on the back of the leaf, and then it should make little cones. That's how you're doing it right, or how you know you're doing it right, and just do that to each flower. And then cut out the leaf. As you can tell, I kind of screwed up there. I didn't notice that I was cutting out on the barcode, but what can you do? And then you're going to fold each leaf down the middle. So just fold it in half, right to the middle, and then stop. And then once we're done folding all three sides, I'm basically going to fold it in half again and then use my scissors to create a tiny little slit on the inside, and that's how we're going to get it on the wire later. So just a tiny little slit, just make sure you don't cut it in half. Now we're already almost done. To make sure that we can get these on the wire, you just want to cut a tiny hole at the base of each cone. So basically just cut the tip off so there's a tiny little hole there. Try not to make it too big, but it's not like a tragedy if it's a little larger than it needs to be. And then we are going to take the smallest cone first, so the one with 3 petals. We're going to put it through the wire, put a big glob of glue on the inside, and then basically just push it up to the base and hold it there until it sticks without sliding down the wire. And then we're taking the second smallest, so the flower with 4 petals, and doing the same thing. Just lifting it up to the other 2 that we already have there and holding it until it doesn't fall off, and continue with the last 2 petals. Last but not least, you need to do the same thing with the leaf and get that up there and glue it on just like you did the petals. And there you have it, the fancy little rose. You can make a bouquet or you can use it for other arrangements, whatever we want to do. It's a pretty little rose that you can use for anything. On to flower number 2. This one is much easier, but it can get a little confusing. I've heard some people who have kind of been helping me with my flowers say they've had trouble with them, but really it just takes knowing how to do the base, and then it's super simple. So you're starting by creating a big spiral. Do it like I did, doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can make it thicker or thinner depending on how you want the final product to look, but just for this video I'm making it pretty big so it's easy to see. And then you cut it out. So once you're done, you should just have this little spiral thing. And then basically all you need to do is curl it in. So the way that I do it, I use like something round to curl around first just to get it kind of, I don't know, make it easier to curl, and then I just wrap it around itself tightly. I hold it with both of my fingers, one on top, one on the bottom, and then I just curl it around until it's all the way to the base. And then that little tab you see there, that's where we're putting the glue, and that's going to hold it all together. And then to make it look right, what you do is you hold the top and the bottom, but you kind of loosen your finger a little bit so that it kind of pops out and it just kind of loosens itself, and then hey look, it's a cute little spiral flower. And then you put the glue on that little tab, put a pretty generous glob there because it's going to need to cover all of the edges that are folding in, and then just hold it there probably for a good solid minute to make sure it's all sticky, and you got a little rosette. Isn't it cute? Flower number 3 is a lot like flower number 1, just a little bit more frilly. So you're going to create another spiral, but instead of an even spiral, you're actually going to be creating little grooves on one end. So I kind of sped it up here, but that's what it should look like in the end result. So one side of it will be straight and the other side will have those little curves, and you need to cut it out. And then again, do the same thing, curl it and wrap it all around itself until it's as tightly wound as you can get it, and all the way done, leaving just the tab. Same thing, hold both edges and let it kind of roll itself out, and if it doesn't unravel enough or get it to the look that you want it, you can kind of help it along and just unweave it until you like the look of it. Glue on the tab, stick it down, so make sure that the edges of the rest of everything that's raveled in is hitting that tab. Hold it there for a good solid minute, and you got a cute little flower. And here you can kind of see the difference between the two. So it's kind of just a simple spiral rose and then a fancier rose. And here's how I use them. I actually did this fancy roses for the boutonnieres and corsages for my wedding. See, cute little boutonniere. And then I used kind of a mixture of the fancy roses and the little spiral roses for my centerpieces. And what it is whiskey glass with a candle inside, and then I made a wreath of flowers surrounding that. So I have 3 big flowers and well, 3 of each big flower color. So I did 3 polka dots, 3 white, and then 6 black and white and 6 red. And then I did random little spiral flowers wherever I thought it was cute. And all of this, I probably got all of my paper and everything for like $150 instead of spending $200 on flowers. So go me. But here are all of the flowers I made. I hope you like them. Just some ideas in case you're getting married or having an event soon. If you like these flowers, feel free to use them. I'll have all of the links to the websites that I used below in my comment section. If you like this video, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate all of that. And that's it for today. I will see you all in my next video.